Hey Commanders fans, before we dive into today's breakdown, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of this new era in Washington. Trust me, you're gonna want to stay locked in. We've got two rookies stealing headlines, and one of them might just surprise the whole league by the time the season kicks off. Alright, let's talk about the 7th round sleeper who's already turning heads in. Ashburn! And the cornerback prospect that might end up being the steal of the 2025 draft. The Washington Commanders didn't spend a high pick on a running back this year, but don't let that fool you. Adam Peters may have pulled off a classic late round gem by selecting Jachary Krosky-Merritt out of New Mexico in the 7th round. Yep, the Jachary Krosky-Merritt, who just landed at number 100 on ESPN's Matt Miller's top 100 value picks in the entire draft class. That's not nothing. Folks, Miller is one of the most respected draft analysts out there, and here's what he said about the Commanders' new back. There's room for Krosky-Merritt to get onto the field early as a special teams return man and third down back. Thus, the eine scheme fit and need in Washington for a pass-catching threat make this a fun pick. Let's break that down. What Miller's really hinting at is that Krosky-Merritt isn't just a camp body. He's got a legitimate path to a real role, and maybe even more if the dominoes fall right. Here's where it gets interesting. Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler, the current 1-2 punch, are both entering contract years. Yes, both of them. Which means by 2026, the Commanders could be looking at a completely new backfield. That's where Krosky-Merritt steps in. At 5'11", 215 pounds, he's got that compact downhill power you want. But what really sets him apart is his soft hands and vision in space. In college, he racked up touchdowns and chunk plays, showing he can be a threat on early downs and in the passing game. He's smart, coachable, and built for those hard-nosed Dan Quinn-style reps. Let's be clear, reps won't be easy to come by unless someone goes down. But if injuries hit or Eckler's touches start getting managed later in the season, Krosky-Merritt could see action a lot sooner than people expect. The Commanders haven't committed to their running back future beyond 2025. That's by design. Adam Peters is operating with a clear vision: youth, upside, and financial flexibility. Adding a developmental weapon like Krosky-Merritt on a rookie deal gives the team optionality. Could he become the next Brian Robinson Jr., a late rounder who grows into a starter? That's the hope. Worst case? You've got a plug-and-play special teams contributor and reliable depth piece. Best case? You've got your running back of the future already in the building. Remember, folks, stars emerge in every draft class from unexpected places. The difference is culture, coaching, and opportunity. And right now, Krosky-Merritt's got a green light to chase that opportunity head-on. Now let's talk about a name everyone needs to learn: Trey Amos, the 6'1" physical freak out of Ole Miss. This guy was almost the pick at number 29. That's how highly Washington's front office rated him. But then came the surprise. Offensive tackle Josh Connolly Jr., a top 20 talent, fell right into their lap. So, what did Peters do? He stayed patient, trusted the board, and still landed Amos at number 61. That's what championship GMs do. According to Matt Miller, yep, him again, Amos was number 12 on his list of best picks of the entire draft. He called him a round one prospect who slipped because teams didn't know how to use him. Washington? They know exactly how. Amos walks into the perfect situation. He doesn't have to be the savior. He doesn't even need to start week 1. Why? Because he'll be lining up next to Marshawn Lattimore, a 4-time Pro Bowler who knows the ins and outs of Dan Quinn's pressman system like the back of his hand. But don't be surprised if Amos takes over quickly. His playstyle is nasty. Press coverage, tight hips, long arms, no fear at the line of scrimmage. Everything Joe Witt Jr. wants in his boundary corners. If he shines in camp, it could push Mike Sainristil back into the slot full-time, which is where he's most dangerous. Let's not forget, this ripple effect puts veteran Jonathan Jones into more of a rotational, matchup-based role. And that's okay. It means the Commanders now have real depth in the secondary. From a problem area to a strength, fast. Here's the bottom line. Adam Peters never drafts for need. He drafts for value. That's why you don't reach for a third string, running back or an edge rusher, when you've got Trey Amos staring you in the face at number 61. That kind of discipline, knowing you're bored, sticking to it, is how franchises are built. The Amos pick was surgical. The Kroski Merritt pick? That was opportunistic, and together they tell a bigger story. Washington's front office is operating on another level. Even national outlets like ESPN and Bleacher Report are taking notice. There's buzz around Ashburn again. This isn't the old Commanders anymore. This is a new team with a new identity and a new generation of players ready to rise. Let's start with the elephant in the war room. Do the Commanders have enough juice off the edge? This defense surprised everyone in 2024. But let's be honest, it leaned heavily on Dante Fowler Jr., who racked up a team-leading 10.5 sacks. With Fowler gone and no true heir on the current roster, Washington may be entering 2025 with a dangerous blind spot. You can question Adam Peters for passing on edge rushers like Jahad Campbell and Landon Jackson in the draft. But remember, the Commanders only had 4 picks. Peters stayed disciplined, landing 2 potential franchise bookends in LT Laramie Tunsil and rookie Josh Cunnerly Jr., and a first-round caliber cornerback in Trey Amos. Still, that leaves the edge room dangerously thin. Here's the current outlook. Clelin Ferrell, on a 1-year deal and more of a rotational piece. Jalen Holmes, depth at best. Dietrich Wise Jr., a solid vet, but at age 30, not a long-term fix. The biggest concern? None of these guys had more than 5 sacks last year. That's not enough in Danny. Quinn's aggressive 4-3 scheme. With players like Von Miller and Matt Judon still unsigned, you have to wonder, is Peters waiting for one last veteran splash? A post-June 1st signing could be coming. Don't be surprised if Washington kicks the tires on either vet once cap situations across the league shift. If this front can't generate pressure, that stellar new-look secondary won't matter. As we've seen with Quinn in Dallas, the entire defense feeds off the edge rush. So yes, question number 1 is very real. Do the Commanders have enough firepower at DE to finish the job in 2025? Now let's get to the most important man in Washington, Jayden Daniels. The reigning offensive rookie of the year had one of the best dual-threat seasons by a first-year quarterback in recent memory. 3,568 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, just 9 interceptions, 891 rushing yards, and 6 scores on the ground. He looked like the total package. But we've seen this story before. CJ Stroud had a jaw-dropping rookie year too. And what happened next? A sophomore slump, 12 interceptions, 52 sacks, and questions swirling about Houston's offense. So what about Daniels? Some execs around the league, like the one who spoke anonymously to Mike Sando of The Athletic, think regression is coming. That this team added too many older vets, like Deebo Samuel, and lost its long-term building mindset. That's one way to see it. But here's the other side. Peters knows what he has in Daniels. That's why he brought in guys like Tunsil to keep the kid upright. Deebo Samuel, to give him a YAC monster across from Terry McLaurin. Wes Welker, one of the smartest offensive minds around to guide the WR room. And let's not forget, Daniels thrives under pressure. This kid is mentally wired like a franchise QB. He didn't just put up stats last season. He led the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. Of course, his development is the ultimate X factor in 2025. The offensive line's cohesion will be huge. We'll get to that in a second. But make no mistake, this team goes as far as number BU. Yet 5 takes them. And if he doesn't regress, the Commanders might just run the NFC East. Now to the final burning question, and it's a big one. Who replaces Sam Cosmi at right guard? This might be the most under-discussed crisis brewing in Ashburn. Cosmi was playing the best ball of his career before tearing his ACL in the divisional round. He got paid, 4 years, $74 million, and earned it. But now there's no return timetable, and the Commanders need a plan. Fast. Here's what's in play. The team traded for All-Pro Laramie Tunsil, locking down left tackle. They drafted Josh Connerly Jr., another natural LT with pick number 29, but neither is a right guard or has much NFL experience inside. Connerly only took 3 snaps at guard at Oregon. Not exactly a plug-and-play replacement. So could Washington. Kick Andrew Wiley inside to guard? Slide Connerly over to RT, or, as some whispers suggest, experiment with Connerly at RG during camp? It's a puzzle. And with Jayden Daniels' health hanging in the balance, it's a critical one. The silver lining? Bobby Johnson, the new O-line coach, is known for his flexibility. He worked wonders with injury-riddled units in Buffalo. If anyone can piece together a versatile, battle-ready front five, it's him. Still, losing Cosme hurts. And until we see who settles into that RG spot, it's fair to question whether this line can keep Daniels as clean as it did last year. So what do you think, Commanders fans? Can Krosky Merritt carve out a surprise role this season? Will Trey Amos be starting by week 5? Or are we overhyping the rookies just a bit? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. And if you liked this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Commanders HQ, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We've got more draft deep dives, trade rumors, and locker room intel coming your way, all from the heart of Washington. This season is going to be special, and we're going to cover every second of it. Until next time, hail to the Commanders.